In Health Watch now, the CDC says the number of measles cases being reported is close to the danger zone. The number of measles cases in the U.S. has now hit 695, making it the country's worst year for measles since 1994. That year saw 963 cases.
Doctors say about 94% of the country is vaccinated and are urging vaccine-hesitant parents to get their children immunized.
So joining us now is staff writer for The Atlantic and Dr. James Hamblin. Thank you so much for joining us. First off, let's just sort of put these numbers in perspective. What did these numbers tell us?
Well, they tell us that measles is back. This is a disease that was declared eradicated in the country in 2000, so 2 decades ago. We thought we were done with it, but it is coming back very quickly, which is concerning, in multiple pockets across the country.
So, Doctor, why is the United States having such a hard time controlling the spread of measles?
A lot of it comes back to information, misinformation, misconceptions, and actually concerted disinformation campaigns where people misunderstand the risks and benefits. And it's complex. People have different relationships with the medical system. And also your perception of risk sort of wanes over time. When you forget that measles is an actual deadly disease, it becomes easier to become susceptible to thinking about harms of vaccines as minimal and almost non-existent as they are.
I'm not sure if you know the answer to this question, but we just read out, some statistics saying that so far this is the worst year since 1994. 1994, 963 cases. Do you know what happened in 1994? Now, as I understand it, we're just a few months into, maybe almost halfway through this year, and we're already at 695. So who knows where we're going to end up at the end of the year? But what's up with 1994 being a bad year for measles?
I don't recall 1994.
Okay. Just sort of curious.
I'm sorry. It was generally, though, it was on the decline from the 80s and 90s until 2000, and there were some outlier outbreaks, as there are with any infectious disease. But generally, there was a real good line of progress over the course of decades, and for a number of reasons, we're going back in the opposite direction, which is the general really concerning trend.
Right.
So it's interesting to me, too, Doctor and Anne-Marie, because I noted the countries that we just showed on that graphic there that are leading the world in number of measles cases reported: the United States, the UK, France, Italy. I didn't see Canada on that list, interestingly enough. And I remember as a child getting vaccinated for measles MMR. It was just the thing that you did. You would start school, and your parents would say, you got to get these vaccines, or the school nurse would say, you got to get these vaccines. And I've gone back to this repeatedly when we covered this story, Doctor, which is that I've worked and reported from countries, a lot of third world countries, where thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people have been affected by horrific diseases that have been eradicated in the United States and in first world countries. And when you see a country like the United States taking a step back, and when you talk to families in other countries where they don't have readily available vaccinations for their children, and they just look at us and they wonder, they scratch their heads and say, how? If you have this available to your children, to your people, are you not ensuring that everybody is protected? Whereas we would give anything to have the kind of medical technology that's available to you in the U.S. So it just is sort of boggling to me. And I note that Canada's not on there, Anne-Marie, because I'm guessing you're not having that same problem that you have in the United States.
I saw that too, and at first I thought about the public healthcare system, but France has a public healthcare system.
True.
So does the UK, and you would think that the government would be particularly proactive if they had to foot the bill.
Right.
So I can't say what the difference is. But I'm curious. We're looking at a list of countries that are where access to information is at the fingertips of everyone.
Right.
Great education, but this is not just happening here; it's happening in other countries. What's going on? Is this a global phenomenon of misinformation? Is that what it is?
It is global, and that was what's really concerning. The World Health Organization announced this month that numbers are up 300% over the same period last year globally, and 110,000 people died of measles in 2017. So as significant as this is in the United States, it's a much bigger problem globally, and the pockets of disinformation that are emanating from places like the United States, where it's not a huge problem, are having effects in places where it has long been a big problem and continues to be. So this requires a global approach, and we're all in this together. And the spirit of understanding that infectious disease is not an individual battle. It's about communities.
Yeah, well, we've done interviews on how, misinformation coming out of the U.S. through various platforms like Snapchat are making their way to India,
right,
where, an outbreak can be absolutely devastating. It still boggles the mind.
It's disconcerting. Dr. James Hamlin, thank you, sir, for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
At Dark Black One, progressive black intelligence, black first, fact first. So the clip I just played is from CBS News, and they're talking about a measles outbreak where so many people that are having the measles, it's really a health risk if you don't have the vaccine. I know Rizza Islam, I respect that brother. I agree with him with a lot of things, but this vaccine stuff, I'm not buying it. I'm really not buying this whole anti-vaccine movement. Okay, because number one of the claims is that this measles, mumps, rubella vaccine is the cause for autism. And you see a lot of people in the conscious community kind of tell you, do not get your children vaccinated. First and foremost, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. All right. But if there's any confusion, let me just tell you, it's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to find out the facts when it comes to the MMR vaccine. I probably will link it down below in the description. But the claim is that if you get your children this vaccine, it's going to just turn them into lunatics. They're going to go crazy. They turn into zombies. It's the cause for autism. And let me tell you, I've been searching up and down the internet, and I found no correlation between autism and the MMR vaccine. What happened was, there was a doctor sometime either in the 80s or the 90s that did a study that tried to correlate autism with the MMR vaccine. But come to find out later on, it was disproven. And the guy was later on even shamed out of the medical community because he was seen as a quack with that poor research and the poor information that he was putting out. So the problem I have with this anti-vaccine stuff is that it's a lot of black people out here that just don't research anything. Whatever somebody tells you, you roll along with it, and that's fact. Just because whatever, let's just say Rizza Islam said it, so I'm just going to roll with that. And this is not to knock Rizza Islam. I love the brother. I love what he's doing. He does a lot of great for the community as far as kicking knowledge and giving good game to a lot of black people who are confused, not only about white supremacy, but many other things. But it's not hard to research and pull this up and just go look at the links and look at everything and actually search and find any kind of correlation with autism. This is fear mongering. Okay, I have the vaccine. My children, I have a little baby. She can't be fully vaccinated, but she's getting parts of the vaccination. But my kids all get vaccinated. It's nothing wrong. It's no autism. Autism is something that I believe they can even test for during a woman's pregnancy during a certain trimester. There is a test. I believe at least at Kaiser it is. There's this test that you can take where they can kind of predict whether your child will have autism or not. So this whole thing about a shot's going to give you some kind of autism, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Because I don't see any evidence when it comes to this. This is just something that's being thrown out there, and I really want to see the evidence. So what I'm noticing is a lot of people don't get this vaccine. Matter of fact, there was a video. I'm just gonna tell you guys to go on YouTube and search. I'm gonna give you permission to leave this video, or after this video, go search this video where this woman, she's acting all weird. She got a vaccine shot, and she act like she was shaking and convulsing and passing out and screaming and doing all of these weird noises. And then like 5 years later or some years down the line, they spot her, and it was all a hoax. She was just doing that for the cameras. Okay, so nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to turn into some kind of monster of Space Jam or some kind of demon. It's not, I mean, for everybody, hey, look, there's a risk in anything. So I won't say it may not have some adverse effects on whatever, on every kid, because everybody's different. But for most people, come on. Let's just be serious. Let's stop playing around. Nothing's going to happen to you if you go get a vaccine. Okay, because let's just say, okay, with anything, if somebody's telling you, look, don't do this, there has to be an alternative. If I tell you, don't eat red meat, there has to be an alternative. Okay, if I'm not going to eat red meat, what am I supposed to eat? And I would tell you fruits and vegetables, or you would eat wild caught salmon, or you would try to, I would try to give you advice to kind of counter that. Whatever I told you. Where's the advice for me if I do catch the measles? Let's just say you're right. You say, oh man, don't get vaccinated. Okay, so what's the alternative? If I do catch the measles, what can I do? If my wife is pregnant, I can not only harm my wife, but the fetus. There's a lot of things about measles, the mumps, and rubella that you have to research. What are the pros and cons if you actually catch the measles, or you catch mumps, or you catch rubella? What is the worst thing that can happen if you bring that to your house and introduce that virus to your family? Mind you, measles, mumps, and rubella, well, specifically for measles, you can contract measles and show no symptoms for up to a month, and then let's just say 30 days later you start breaking out in rashes. Okay, and you could have been highly contagious, hugging your daughters, hugging your sons, kissing your wife, kissing your babies, and you giving them all of this stuff. Your wife's pregnant. You know, your child could be born blind, all kinds of stuff. And people are telling you, don't get the vaccine. Well, what's the alternative? Okay? And now, and another thing I hate about it is that people want to become health experts when it comes to vaccines. You put all types of nasty, weird, toxic shit in your body. When it comes to food, you'll eat pesticide sprayed oatmeal or pesticide sprayed fruits and all kinds of cholesterol, cancer causing food. When you go to the damn fast food drive-through, there's a sign saying that, oh, some of the foods that we sell you may give you cancer. It's right there in front of you for everybody to see. That this facility may have chemicals that cause cancer in the food and in the building. Some of that stuff You have signs like that in your apartment building. You're breathing all kinds of weird stuff. I just saw an article talking about the presence of lead being everywhere. It's all kinds of stuff that you're already coming into contact with. So now when it comes to the vaccine, you want to be a health nut. You want to be, oh, I'm not going to put that in my body because this and this and this may happen. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like we're eating all kinds of fucked up food that we know is going to give us heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes. What else? You name it. Cancer. We can give our kids high fructose drinks. We can give them all kinds of food with gum and all kinds of ingredients with all kinds of chemical cocktails on there. Give your child a Lunchables, but you just like, oh man, a vaccine is just so terrible. Oh no, don't do that. And then you give your kids some Little Caesars pizza. So I mean, which one is it? When are you going to be serious about your health, or when are you not? So now you want to be serious when it comes to a vaccine. And I'm not just saying that I'm just saying everybody, include me. Right? Like, there's things that, hey, I don't know. Why don't you go to the doctor and ask the doctor, hey, doctor, did you give your daughter the vaccine? Or did you give your son the vaccine? Ask a medical professional and see what they say. Because these people go to school every day. I mean, they went to school for so many years. They studied medicine, right? And they can tell you. They can tell you, because a doctor can tell you what the side effect of any drug when you go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor tells you, hey, look, come back for a blood test. I'm starting you off on this new medication. Come back in about 30 days or 2 weeks so I can see how your blood work, the reaction, like what it's doing inside of your body, because the side effects may be this. So this whole like fear mongering, like, oh my God, I'm just going to turn into some goblin. Think about the risks that you're running. Think about, hey man, what if I contract measles, mumps, or rubella, and I get that to my kids or my family or somebody, a baby, an infant that don't know nothing about nothing. So, I mean, think about it. You go to the store, you just throw shit in your cart because of the artistry of the box, the way that the picture looks, the way that the food looks. You don't even care what the ingredients are of some of the stuff that you buy. But all of a sudden, somebody tells you, look, this is serious. You need to go get this vaccine. This is going to be very, very detrimental. If you catch measles and you give it to your family, it's going to be hell. And that's what nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you the alternative. It's you can't eat fruits and vegetables and be in a place with measles and think that that's just going to fight off the measles. It doesn't work like that. This is an actual virus that's very, very contagious. And if it gets out of control, people can get hurt. And another thing is, what I've read, according to the Wikipedia article, it says that, in Japan, I think it's Japan, they outlawed the MMR vaccine, and then autism actually shot up. So I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. You got to go out here. You got to do your own research. As the picture says, you could do whatever the hell you want to do. Do whatever you want. Whatever you want to get, whatever you believe in, that's what you want to believe in. But I'm saying you got to stick to the facts. And what the facts are, go out there and get your ass a fucking vaccine. Stop playing around. Listening to different people, that's going to get you hurt. Research the facts. It's Dark Black One. I'm out.